What if I told you that every single problem in your life right now contains the seed of something greater? What if the very thing that's frustrating you, blocking you, or causing you pain is actually the exact thing you need to become who you're meant to be? This isn't motivational speaking. This isn't positive thinking. This is a 2,000-year-old philosophy that built empires, survived persecutions, and has guided some of history's most resilient people through their darkest hours. The Romans had a phrase, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But to understand why this works, we need to go back to where it all started. Picture ancient Rome at its peak. You're walking through the marble halls of the imperial palace, and you come across a man writing in his journal. He's not just any man, he's Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful person in the world, literally holding the fate of millions in his hands. And what is he writing? Not battle plans, not political strategies, but reminders to himself about how to think properly about obstacles. You have power over your mind, not outside events, he writes. Realize this, and you will find strength. This wasn't just philosophy for Marcus, this was survival. He faced plague, war, betrayal, and the constant pressure of ruling an empire. Yet he discovered something revolutionary. Obstacles aren't roadblocks, they're raw material. Think about it this way. When a river encounters a rock, it doesn't stop. It doesn't complain about the unfairness of rocks existing. It flows around it, over it, under it. And in doing so, it carves canyons, creates waterfalls, and shapes the very landscape. The obstacle becomes part of the river's journey, not the end of it. But here's where most people get this wrong. They think Stoicism means accepting everything passively, just letting life happen to you. That's not Stoicism, that's resignation. True Stoicism is incredibly active. It's about taking every single obstacle and asking, how can this serve me? How can this make me better? What virtue can I practice here? Let's break this down with real examples. Say you lose your job unexpectedly. Most people see this as a disaster, something that happened to them. A Stoic sees it as raw material. This obstacle now becomes an opportunity to practice courage by facing uncertainty. It becomes a chance to practice wisdom by learning new skills or exploring different paths. It becomes an opportunity to practice justice by treating people fairly during the transition, not taking your frustration out on others. And it becomes a chance to practice temperance by managing your resources carefully and not making desperate decisions. The obstacle isn't just in the way, it literally becomes the way forward. Every challenge you face is actually the universe's way of asking, are you ready to level up? Are you ready to become more than you were? Consider Thomas Edison. He didn't fail 1,000 times making the light bulb. He found 1,000 ways that didn't work. Each failure was information, each setback was education. The obstacles were building his expertise. Or think about Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty, facing abuse and discrimination. Those weren't just things that happened to her. They became the foundation of her empathy, her drive, and her ability to connect with millions of people who faced similar struggles. But let's get practical. How do you actually do this? How do you turn your current problems into power? The Stoics had a specific process. First, they practiced what they called the discipline of perception. When something goes wrong, your immediate reaction determines everything that follows. Most people react emotionally first. They get angry, frustrated or scared. Stoics train themselves to pause and ask, what are the facts here? What actually happened, stripped of my emotional interpretation? Let's say someone cuts you off in traffic. The fact is, a car changed lanes in front of you. That's it. Everything else, they're disrespecting me. People are so rude. This ruined my day. That's all your interpretation. And interpretations can be changed. Second, they ask, what opportunity does this create? This is where the magic happens. That person who cut you off. Now you have an opportunity to practice patience. Your flight got delayed. Perfect chance to practice acceptance and maybe catch up on reading. Your business partner backed out? Now you can practice self-reliance and discover capabilities you didn't know you had. Third, they focus on what they call preferred outcomes, but they don't attach their peace of mind to getting them. They work toward what they want, but they prepare mentally for obstacles. This isn't pessimism, it's realism. When you expect obstacles, you're not shocked by them. You're ready to use them. The ancient Stoics had training exercises for this. They would imagine losing their wealth, their health, their relationships, not to be morbid, but to build mental resilience. When you've already mentally rehearsed how you'd handle a setback, it doesn't devastate you when it happens. You respond instead of react. Here's what's fascinating about this approach. When you stop fighting obstacles and start using them, they often disappear faster. Resistance creates persistence. When you struggle against a problem, you give it power over you. When you flow with it, looking for the opportunity within it, you often find solutions you couldn't see when you were fighting. Think about the bamboo tree. In a storm, the rigid oak tree might break, but bamboo bends without breaking. It uses the wind's force, dancing with it rather than fighting it. After the storm, the bamboo springs back, often stronger than before. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop trying to solve problems. It means you approach them differently. You become like water, persistent but flexible, powerful but adaptable. Let me give you a modern example. In 2008, when the economy collapsed, millions of people lost their jobs, their homes, their savings. Those who approached it like a Stoic asked, what can this teach me? How can this redirect my life towards something better? Many of them started businesses, changed careers, developed new skills. The obstacle became the catalyst for transformation they never would have chosen but desperately needed. The people who just fought against the reality of the recession, who spent years angry and resentful, often stayed stuck longer. They were so busy fighting what had happened that they couldn't see what was possible. Here's your practical action plan. Starting today, when you encounter any obstacle, big or small, ask yourself 3 questions. First, what are the actual facts here without my emotional interpretation? Second, what virtue can I practice in this situation? And third, if this obstacle was placed here specifically to help me grow, what is it trying to teach me? Try this with small things first. The coffee shop is out of your favorite drink? Practice adaptability. Traffic is heavy? Practice patience. Someone disagrees with you online? Practice wisdom by choosing not to engage in pointless arguments. Small obstacles are your training ground for bigger ones. Remember, Marcus Aurelius didn't become wise and resilient because he had an easy life. He became that way because he had obstacles and chose to see them as opportunities. Every Roman emperor before him had faced similar challenges. The difference wasn't in their circumstances, it was in their philosophy. The obstacle is the way, not around the obstacle, not in spite of the obstacle, but through it. Every problem you're facing right now is actually the universe's curriculum, designed specifically for you. The only question is, are you going to be a good student? Your obstacles aren't punishments, they're possibilities. Your problems aren't roadblocks, they're raw materials. The very thing you think is stopping you is actually the thing that's going to make you. That's not just ancient wisdom, that's the Stoic way.